Meeting is started. Yeah, come on, Kathy.
Shannon Martell,
Present.
Brandon Partains,
Here.
Jason Evans,
Here.
Bradley Young,
Present.
Bonnie Billings,
Present.
Renata York, absent. You have a quorum.
All right, let's go ahead and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're gonna start with general public comment, item number 3. And what I just wanted to tell you is that our video recordings are not high quality. So we're gonna try to improve that. So when you come up for public comment, we want you to stand at the podium and actually face this camera. And this speaker is right here in the middle of the room. And the other reminder is if you do want to make a public comment, there's a form in the front and you fill it out and you give it to me, and then we make sure that your voice is heard. So we're going to go ahead and start with general public comment. Some people, Zane, Lawrence, you didn't tell me which item. Would that be item 3 or 11? 3 is at the beginning of the meeting, 11 is at the end of the meeting. Zane, Lawrence? 11, okay. All right, and Julie, okay. So we'll start with Julie. Do you want to come up to the podium? Yes. And state your name and just speak into that camera. Is there a microphone or? There he is, it's right there.
Okay, my little comments are on my. Good evening. I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight regarding Nevada Department of Transportation's long-term plan for Pyramid Highway, and specifically the results of the phase already completed.
You speak louder.
Oh, louder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I am here to express my profound disappointment in the prioritization and demonstrated in the initial phase. I acknowledge the need for long-term investment, but I'm flabbergasted every time I see that instead of building a third essential vehicle lane, a bike lane was installed. This decision prioritizes leisure over commerce and utility. For NDOT, it appears to be more important that a handful of cyclists have a dedicated path than ensuring thousands of commuters get to work on time or back home to their families efficiently. This is not being a good steward of our tax dollars, nor is it planning for the future. For an economy to prosper and last for generations, we must invest in infrastructure that fuels commerce and supports the daily lives of our working citizens. While Pyramid Highway is not the Intercontinental Railroad system, the workers and individuals participating in commerce here need a dependable, high-capacity infrastructure to thrive. The current plan does not deliver that. The current design is already fostering anger and aggression in our community. I see daily comments on neighborhood forums about driver frustration, and it's a direct, in my opinion, it's a direct result of the road failing to function as a major thoroughfare. The fact that there's mile-long backups on Pyramid Way while secondary perpendicular roads remain unclear is a clear sign that of the poor choice designs that were made. And I'm hoping future phases will correct. For example, the speed limit between McCarran and Disc Drive should be raised from 45 to 55, given the lack of adjacent development. Second, traffic lights at minor neighborhood access points are disrupting the entire flow. These signals should be timed to wait for the next natural Pyramid Way cycle, rather than immediately triggering a disruptive red light for a single car. The reality is simple. Pyramid Highway should be managed as a limited access road designed for high volume throughput. With a projected 43% population growth in the region, the current mess will only worsen unless we fundamentally change course. I urge NDOT to immediately reassess the priorities for the remaining phases. We need essential long-term investment in vehicle capacity, not non-essential short-term gratifications. The focus must be on maximizing traffic flow to support economic prosperity.
Julie, that
of the
was your
region.
time.
Thank
Thank you. Okay, the next speaker is Bruce Foster. And you have 3 minutes, Bruce.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, good evening, and Bruce Foster, and this community service announcement. But I'm not going to talk about the unrestricted growth that we see here in Spanish Springs. I'm not going to talk about the quagmire that we're in with the traffic issues. Tonight, we're going to talk about Wall Builders. Wall Builders, an organization that talks about the founders and how our founding country was based upon Judeo-Christian values. Calvary Chapel, Reno Sparks is going to have a special event on Sunday, and we're going to have David Barton with Wall Builders to be able to speak at our church, and he'll discuss how our Judeo-Christian values back then and biblical values had such an impact on our Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And so everyone is welcome at our 11:30 service, and I can leave these here at the table for your convenience. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Okay, I think the other two are item 11. All right, so now what we'll do is do the approval of the minutes for the meeting of October 1.
A motion to approve.
Brandon makes a motion to approve.
Actually, there was one error.
Oh, there was an error. Okay,
Bradley Young was not listed as present.
okay,
Other than that, I second the motion.
okay, correction, Bradley Young should be listed as present. And with that correction, Jason seconds the motion. Is there any further discussion? Does everyone approve? Any nays? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, those have been approved with that minor correction. Okay, so now we have public safety updates, which we always really appreciate. And so I think I see, is that fire back there? Or is that sheriff? I don't have my glasses on. Fire. That's fire. Okay.
Sure.
Oh, the sheriff's sitting down. Do you? Oh, he's. I'm not gonna say that. Yeah, at the podium, speak loud and face that camera. Thank you.
Derek Reed, Time Chief with Turkey Meadows Fire. Hope you all are well today. I'm giving you the numbers for October for the Spanish Springs area. We had 4 fires, EMS calls 92, a motor vehicle accidents 7, hazmats 1, public assist 6, good intent calls 26, and fire alarms 1. We do assist with Sparks Fire for auto mutual aid, and for EMS calls, that number is 23. So with that combined number of our jurisdiction, including Sparks for mutual aid, for the month of October, it's 169. I also want to bring attention that open burning is open till April, with certain days being restricted, like obvious today and yesterday was restricted due to wind. The best way to find out whether it's a open burn day is going to tmfpd.us, and right there on the homepage, just scroll up and it'll say whether it's a permissible burn day. And then it'll also show you how to get a burn permit if you don't have one. Do you have any questions for me?
No, thank you very much for being here.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. And now we got the sheriff's office here.
Good evening, everybody. Haven't been at this cab before, so I'll introduce myself. My name is Lieutenant Nick Tone, Washoe County Sheriff's Office. I am the watch commander for the patrol division on the Sunday through Wednesday side of the week. So if you call and have occasion to speak to me, I'll be the one answering the phone on those evening hours or early morning hours. A couple things I want to talk about today to give you an update on. Echo a few things you've seen on our socials before I go into some statistics. Real quick, I wanted to talk about a crime that has been very prevalent in the entire community, not just Spanish Springs, and that is fraud. We've been pushing out to everybody. Please tell all your friends that you know. If you get a phone call from anybody, it doesn't matter who they're saying they are, there is no legitimate reason ever that somebody's going to ask you to go put money into a Bitcoin ATM machine and pay a bill, pay a warrant, pay any type of transaction using that mode of payment. They're all illegitimate. And if you have a question on it, if they're very convincing, call our non-emergency number and we'll be happy to take the call. And if I'm in the area, I'll talk to them for you. No problem at all. I like to tell this story every once in a while. I had the very unusual and very unique circumstance of having a scammer call me to try to get money impersonating me. So, that was he did not get any money, but I kept him on the phone for about 45 minutes and he found that very upsetting. So,
Lieutenant, do you, some people watch the recording.
yes,
So could you face that camera when you speak?
Absolutely.
I know it's hard, but
kind of angle so I can.
yeah.
ATMs. So ATMs are a legal way to purchase cryptocurrency. You'll find them a lot of places, including Costco. They have them behind the counter where you get your membership over by the exit. That is a legitimate way to buy cryptocurrency. There's many, many ways to do it. But what a scammer will typically do is they will ask you to go put in real money and exchange for cryptocurrency. Then you'll get an address where they will tell you to send that money to pay your bill, pay your fee, whatever that happens to be. And that is the illegitimate piece. It is a legitimate way to buy cryptocurrency, but it is an illegitimate way to make a transaction, pay off a bill, anything like that. There's nowhere that I'm aware of that accepts that mode of payment. And the government, sheriff's office, district attorney's office, absolutely not. Nobody will call and ask you to pay off a warrant that you had no idea that you had using cryptocurrency, I promise. And again, if you ever want to verify, I believe 785-9276. So you can call our non-emergency line. We will call you back and we will run you through it. On that note, it's a good segue that if any of you have been the victim of identity theft or know anybody that has, something happens, they get your identification, doesn't have to be through a scam, whatever, however it occurred, the Attorney General's office, as well as the Federal Trade Commission, have a program where you can get an affidavit or a card from the Nevada Attorney General's office that indicates that you've been the victim of identity theft. So you can bring that to a bank, you can bring that to financial institutions, and that will kind of give an explanation as to why your credit is frozen, why your financial life is currently in a bit of been turned upside down. Sheriff's Office, Washoe County Sheriff's Office, is a certifying agency for those programs. So if that is something that you need based on your identity being stolen, you can get that form from the Attorney General's office online, bring it to us, and then we can go ahead and certify that and get you that identification to help you move forward and get past the unfortunate event that's happened. Another real quick thing I want to talk about, well, it's specific to everybody in the county, but it's a big problem out here in Spanish Springs, is e-bikes. I came from doing 5 years up in Incline Village, where it is also a very significant issue. So first off, I just want to quickly define what an e-bike is. By NRS, there's three NRS Nevada revised statutes, there's three classifications for e-bikes. The first one is electric bicycle, motor, pedal assisted. Can only go up to 20 miles per hour with pedal assist. Class 2 is throttle, only up to 20 miles per hour. Again, it has pedals. Class 3 is pedal assist, but it can also go up to 28 miles an hour. Anything over 28 miles per hour, any electronic bicycle that does not have, or excuse me, that has fixed pedals is not an e-bike. That is a motorcycle or a moped. Anything over 75 watts, which translates to 1 horsepower, 750 watts, translates to 1 horsepower, that is not a bicycle. And it needs to be registered. You need to have a license to drive it. So yes, a lot of these kids you see running around on these bikes, it is a big problem. And it is one that we are taking the approach of education. We're working with the schools. We're stopping kids. Go to the Taco Bell over on Eagle Canyon and trying to solve the problem, because as all of you know, you put a 12-year-old on this bike, the parent may just be ignorant to the fact that this bicycle, you keep calling it a bicycle, this moped style bike can go upwards of 40 miles per hour. 12-year-olds do not know traffic laws, nor do they expect it to. So it's a big problem. Please let us know if you see it. We try to take the educational approach, talk to the parents, and see if we can solve the problem. The one you'll see the most is a bike called a Suron. That is a brand. It's the most popular one, but there are many others. We have deputies out here in what we call 4-beat, which is Spanish Springs for us. And we are out here making those contacts with those kids and trying to solve the problem before tragedy strikes, which unfortunately has at least 4 times in the last year in our greater area, including Lake Tahoe and Truckee area. So that is something that we are very aware of and we are out there addressing. Another thing we are addressing specifically to Spanish Springs is the shooting above Golden Eagle Park. We have deputies out there on a regular basis, making contact, citing when appropriate. And if you guys let us know, we have a dedicated vehicle, high clearance vehicle to get out there, make those contacts and make sure we're not lighting fires and staying out of the congested area, or informing people where the appropriate area to shoot is, which you can up there, but further out than a lot of people are. So again, if education fixes the problem, great. If a citation is appropriate, also great. It's going to be sort of be determinate on the contact that is made with that individual.
You put signage on the shooting out there?
There is. Unfortunately, the signage is also a target. So we had to replace it a few times, but yes, there's going to be new signage as well. Plus, we put out, if you've downloaded it before, the Washoe County Sheriff's Office does have an app that you can download, and that does have the congested shooting area on there, and it'll show where you're at, so you can have an idea of where it's appropriate to shoot, where it's not, and you'll have that information available as well. Or again, you can always call and ask, and we'll be able to help you out with that. A deputy will call you. It's never an issue. Last thing I have, we just published our 3rd quarter report card. Every quarter, the Sheriff's Office has a report card of all of our statistics, just to kind of see how we're doing, crime trends, what's going on in the public, where we need to put our resources, things of that nature. Spanish Springs specifically, a couple of things to note. We had a slight increase in destruction of property, and along with that, we did, if it made its way around the various social media groups, I know that the neighborhood apps gets a lot of traction and a lot of people talk about things going on. We had a rash of rock throwing incidents involving juveniles, where they were throwing rocks at moving cars and through windows of some of the homes that are being built, the Silverado homes, the Toll Brothers homes, and a couple of the other communities. We did make an arrest on that. We were able to identify the juvenile involved and a couple others. And since that arrest was made, he still gets sporadic juvenile issues because they're juveniles, and we address those as they come. But since we made that arrest, those have dropped off considerably. Another one to note, overall calls for service. I like you guys just to be sort of aware of the call volume that happens, not just in the county, but specific to Spanish Springs. Typically, the 3-year average for calls in Spanish Springs is 1,669 for 3rd quarter average going back the last 3 years. This quarter, for this year, we're up to 2,122, 37% increase. So where does that come from? Actually, dispatched calls were not necessarily a huge increase. A little bit, about 60 more calls on average that were dispatched, meaning somebody called 911, somebody called non-emergency, and they needed some assistance from us in some fashion. The biggest increase, we had a 50% increase for self-initiated activity. So we're taking, what that means is deputies are out there. We've assigned additional deputies out here based on the population increase, the increased calls for service, some of the issues going on. And those deputies pulling cars over, going after DUIs and other goal crimes of the sheriff has resulted in a significant increase in the calls for service out here, but it's mostly from deputies out there making contacts with juveniles, making contacts with people that look like they're up to no good, or checking the parks and trying to contain any, well, I guess what you could call riffraff. And on that note, one of the main goals for the sheriff, besides DUI enforcement, has also been weapons law violations this year. So we've been going after a lot of weapon laws, which means illegal weapons, such as brass knuckles, felons that aren't supposed to have stun guns, or any weapon of that sort, any other kind of weapon that per statute is illegal. That has increased from an average of 3 arrests per 3-year average for the third quarter up to 11. So we have been targeting a lot of the weapons violations, and due to that enforcement, we've had a pretty good increase in those violations we've made arrests on as well. That's all I prepared for you guys today, but any questions that you guys have? Sir?
How about no plates and expired paper plates?
So there's 2 parts to that. No plates off. Yes, so the question was about no plates and or expired paper plates. So often when we pull over a car for no plates, that's probable cause to make the stop. Often what we find is when we go up to the car, if the person has a moving permit, which often they do, and typically you can see it in the lower right-hand corner of the windshield. If they have a moving permit, they're good. And more information for everybody, understanding I too have to go to the DMV. So I understand the frustration. I don't get a special line, but if you have to go to the DMV, you buy a car, what has it? There's no appointments available. A lot of people have been told, if you print out a piece of paper that says, this is my appointment date, and you keep that with you, you're fine. Pull you over, I know the car's expired, but if you have an appointment and you're trying, you're not gonna get in trouble for it. Now, I know the DMV just released an app or a program where they want to know about the expired paper plates as well. Again, they're out there. There's a lot of them out there. That is probable cause for a stop, but it's no different than any other traffic violation. Pull them over when we see them, but when we can pull them over, and I know a lot of people call to make a complaint or they have a question for us as why we're not pulling some cars over. It depends on what the deputy is doing. If the deputy is on their way to a call for service, a priority call, they're not going to stop the speeder unless it is a gross public safety issue. Then they'll divert, they'll stop them, I'll send somebody else. In terms of registration violations, same thing. They're looking for it. If they're not doing anything, they're looking for people to pull over, make contacts with individuals, that's a great stop because you should have your car registered. We all have to, as do I. Now, the other part, and typically this gets people a little frustrated, is if you want to call and ask, I'll always answer your question. But if the deputy has a person in the back of their car that they've just arrested, they will not pull somebody over unless it is a gross violation or a gross public safety issue. For instance, an obvious DUI. Somebody's swerving around the road like this, even if you got the guy in the back of the car in handcuffs, they will initiate the stop and I will send somebody immediately to help. So that is some of the reasons you'll see why we're not pulling cars over. And of course, try to pull over as many as is appropriate. But fact of the matter is there's not enough of us for the number of people that are out there doing things that you should probably get pulled over for. And we have full academies right now. We're pushing people out to patrol. So it's a work in progress. We got 27 in the academy right now. And we got another 27 coming up in the next one. So hopefully we'll push some people out and get them on their training program. See a few more cars being pushed around the community.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant.
Absolutely.
great. Thank you.
Certainly.
So we're going to move on in the agenda, but thank you for being here. And if there are any other questions, do you mind standing in the back
No,
for a
I'm-
bit? You can go back.
I'm
and
a
ask
nighttime
questions.
guy, so I'll be here till like 3 o'clock in the morning.
We're gonna turn the lights out though.
And then we're gonna turn the lights on. All right, item number 6 is the Regional Transportation Commission, the RTC update. And we have Paul Nelson with us, and he's the Government Affairs Officer. And he's here after his work hours, and I so appreciate when they come out and update us on what's happening. So I welcome Paul to come forward. And again, Paul, if you'll just face this direction, then talk to that camera so that when people watch the video, they can hear you.
Can you click it or? All right, as you mentioned, my name is Paul Nelson. I'm the Government Affairs Officer at RTC. Always a pleasure to come out here and let everyone know what our plans are when we come out, when it comes to roads. We all know how frustrating it is with the growth and the capacity of the roads. So it's always nice to give you guys an update. Some of the things that we're doing are kind of review, but the good part about that is we're also 1 year closer to when we'll actually start doing the work. So who we are, first of all, I'll talk about our RTC board. It's made up of 5 electeds from Reno Sparks and Washoe County. Our chair is Commissioner Alexis Hill. Our vice chair is Devin Reese, Reno City Councilman, Marion Lawson, Mayor Hillary Sheevy, Commissioner Marluz Garcia, and then we also have Tracy Larkin Thomason that sits on there as an ex officio from NDOT. Next. Done.
Oh, can you speak up, Paul?
Okay.
The people in the back can't hear you, I don't think.
All right, so we have, our mission is building a better community through quality transportation, and we do that in 3 ways. We are the Metropolitan Planning Organization. So we do all the planning for the roads, the regional roads in the Reno Sparks, Washoe County metropolitan area. We also do the public transportation, and we do a lot of the engineering and construction of the regional roads. Next. So public transportation, the big buses, that's our most prominent one. It's the backbone of our transit system. We're really proud that we have seen a lot of growth in our transit. 12 months, last 12 months, 5.85 million trips. 60% of those are for work trips. So we know that it's helping our economy. We're really happy that we've had 37 straight months of ridership growth. We're still not quite where we were pre-pandemic in terms of riders, but seeing more than 3 years of ridership growth month over month is something we're really proud of. Also, our fleet is made up of all electric, diesel electric hybrid, and we have 8 hydrogen fuel cell buses that we're going to be getting on the roads here shortly once our permanent fueling facility is up and running. The bus rapid transit, this is a very successful and very popular route that we've done. We've got 2 of them. Virginia line, you can see just in the last year, more than 1 million rides just on the Virginia line alone. Lincoln line, 461. That goes 4th Street, Prater Way, over to right there by the Nugget Centennial Plaza. You can see 1.5 million rides combined out of almost 6 million annually for our entire system. So that's a big chunk of the people that are riding. And one of the things that people like about it is the frequency. Service comes about every 10 minutes. For places like Spanish Springs, where we don't have a fixed route, there's just not enough demand to warrant a big bus, 40-foot bus driving all the way out to Spanish Springs. So we've got 4 zones where we operate Flex Ride. We use it like Uber or Lyft. You go on the app or you make a phone call. We'll go to your door, pick you up, take you anywhere within this zone. See, it's a pretty big zone, goes pretty deep down into the south part of Sparks and then all the way to the north part of Spanish Springs. If you want to go somewhere farther, then they'll drop you off at one of the bus stops and get you on your way. Some of the special programs we have are also pretty popular, the senior taxi bucks. This one is great for people that are seniors, veterans, or people with disabilities. It's a $60 subsidy on the card that they've got every month. It'll auto load. $60 doesn't go very far, but it's really valuable for people if they need to get to a doctor's appointment or once a month they have to go pick up their prescriptions. So it does get people where they need to go. A lot of people like to get it so that if they go to the airport, they've got an easy taxi, Uber, or Lyft ride when they go to the airport. The thing about this, you have to pick one of them. You can't, they're not interchangeable. You have to pick either taxi, Uber, or Lyft, and that's the one you're using. Another program we have is the van pool program. We have one of the largest fleets in the US, top 10. We saved more than 20 million vehicle miles traveled in 2024. And this is because we've got so many people that commute long ways to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, Susanville, Carson City, Truckee, Tahoe, places like that. And this continues to grow. So we're the way it works is it's a carpool program where Enterprise provides a vehicle, we provide a subsidy. It makes it very affordable for the driver to lease the vehicle. So it's a really good opportunity for people. Next. Future Riders. So a brand new program that we started up. You can see the Youth Ride Free. So this is a partnership with the Washoe County School District where they're trying to find solutions to reduce the amount of absenteeism and tardiness. So one of the methods that we came up with was we would provide free rides for any student of the Washoe County School District. We're also working with some of the charter schools in the area to try to expand this program. So far, we've already had more than 2,000 people sign up for it. And we don't know if it's having impact yet on the tardiness and the absenteeism, but we do know that some students have jobs after school that they want to go to. Some of them have extracurricular activities. Some of them don't live in a school bus zone. So there are a lot of benefits for the students that do take advantage of this. Another one we have is the Ed Pass program, where if you're a student or an employee at UNR, Truckee Meadows Community College, Desert Research Institute, or Western Nevada College, you can also ride the bus for free. And it doesn't have to be just for school. You can use the entire network for whatever purpose you need. Next. So planning is one of our other departments. So every 4 years, by federal law, we have to adopt our 20-year plan. So for us, it's actually 25 years. We updated our 2050 regional transportation plan. Every single project that you guys see happening on our roads starts in this document. Eventually, we get down to a 5-year plan and a 2-year plan, and then we start construction. So we just adopted this one back in February. We went out to the community. We talked to people about what their priorities are in the next 20 years, what they want to see in terms of transportation, and then we implement that. RTC, other member entities, and NDOT can also implement some of the things that are in this plan. Next. So one of the things that came out of our RTP this year was, or last year, was the neighborhood network plans. You can see we divided up the entire region into 12 different neighborhoods. And we're really going through those neighborhoods with a fine-tooth comb to try to find out the best ways that we can make improvements for people within that neighborhood that want more safety and comfort if they want to walk somewhere or bike somewhere. We're usually looking at about a mile distance if they want to ride their bike to the grocery store or something like that. So we're looking at all these different neighborhoods to find out where we can make these improvements, whether it's a better sidewalk, paths, crosswalks, traffic signals, things like that. And I'll get into a couple of the things that we're doing right now. We already went through that number 9 right there in the middle and number 7. So Central Reno, Central Sparks, we already did the plans there. Now we're going into the implementation phase. At the same time, we've moved on to number 10 right there, which is the Meadowwood Hidden Valley area. And number 2, which is Sun Valley and Panther Valley, looking at those. I think the Spanish Springs one, the way they graded these, it came out to a scoring system. Spanish Springs, I believe in 2028, we'll start looking at this neighborhood and figuring out ways that we can improve the pedestrian and bicycle access here. Next slide. So some of the treatments that we have that we can put, just we call these quick builds. They're inexpensive and quick. So we can put things like that top left picture of bulb out, just adding protection for pedestrians when they want to cross the street. The center refuge right there for pedestrians, so that if there's traffic, they can stop in the median right there and be a little bit protected. You got a makeshift roundabout there. You've got bike lanes. This one, I believe, on the bottom right is from Southern California, where they took a street and they turned it into basically a courtyard area for community gatherings and things like that. Next one. Other ones you look at, these are bicycle treatments that we can do. We've got the divided bike lane where you've got the pillars, you've got the concrete curb that goes along the bike lane. The one on the top right, we call those armadillos, that they don't look like they protect you much, but from what I'm told, it doesn't feel very good if you're a driver and you hit those things. So it does protect you. And you've got the concrete barrier on the bottom left, bicycle parking, and then the painted bike lanes. So these are all things that we can do fairly quickly in these neighborhoods. Next. So engineering, this is obviously one that people deal with a lot, and this is our most expensive out of all of them. One of the nice things about it is the investments that we're putting into our community have resulted in the last year 2,700 construction jobs. And on top of that, we got about 3,000 other jobs for transit related things. So right around 3,000 jobs total with our investments. Next slide. So I'll start with our pavement preservation program. We've got 3 ways we do that. Preventive maintenance, which is this picture right here. You can see on the left, we did some patching and some crack seals, and then we put a slurry seal over the top and then restriped, and that's what you got on the right-hand side right there. Really does extend the life of the road. And it's a lot less expensive in the long run. Periodic maintenance. Corrective maintenance is the second one, and that's where we take that top layer of pavement off the road, put a new layer down. The rehabilitation is basically when the roadway gets to the end of its usable life, but the materials in that base are still good, so we can recycle that and then lay a new roadway down. Next. So this is a big project that we've been planning for several years now, the Sparks Boulevard Capacity Improvement Project. Just started this project a couple of months ago. A lot of it you've probably seen if you've driven up Sparks Boulevard. A lot of it was so far working in the ditch, doing some culverts, tree removal. In a couple of weeks here, we are going to start with lane closures from Bering down to Springland, O'Callahan. So it's going to be one lane in each direction. That's going to be a 70-day closure. So in January is when we can expect to see that open back up. So this is going to be quite the project. We expect to have it completed in the spring of 27. So buckle up. It's going to be a long road. We did wait for that pyramid project to wrap up before we started this one because obviously there's only so many ways you can get out to Spanish Springs. We didn't want everything to be a mess. So along with widening this to 3 lanes in each direction, we're also doing a roadway rehabilitation between Bering and Shadow. So that'll be a brand new road right there too. We're also going to be maintaining or improving the shared use path and the bike lanes. So this is a big project. We're excited about it. And once it's done, everyone can take a breath, and it's going to be pretty big to add that capacity for people that are driving north and south. Next. Vista Boulevard, Disc Drive intersection. So this one is a small project. We are at substantial completion right now. So all the lanes are open on this again. It was a 2-month project. I know that some people asked me about it, the commute from the Wingfield Springs area down into Sparks or Reno. This one, it is substantially completed. We will come back to finish this project in a couple segments. In January, we're going to install some new traffic signals. We're just waiting on the equipment to get here. And then we're going to come back in the spring and then we're going to stripe the new road. Next. Eagle Canyon Safety and Operations. This one here is really making improvements for pedestrians. There's 2 schools right there. I think there's some recreation fields and things like that. So we'll be improving the lighting, the signage, striping, be extending the shared use path. Right now, a lot of people are walking through the dirt. You can see the trail that they've created. So we're going to make this just a lot better for people as they're walking along this street. Next. Sparks Boulevard Ion Drive signal. This one in 2026, we're going to be putting a traffic signal at this intersection. We have had some concern from citizens asking us, hey, are you guys going to be doing anything about this? Yes, we are. That's going to happen next year. So instead of this stop sign, it'll be a lot more safe. We know that there's a lot of high-speed traffic going on there. So we do think this will make this intersection a lot more safe. Next. La Posada Drive corrective maintenance. So this is going to be 2 streets. La Posada. So this is the what I was saying about taking that top layer of pavement off, putting a new one down. La Posada Drive between Pyramid Highway and Cordova Boulevard. And then on Cordova Boulevard between La Posada Drive and Calle de Oro Parkway. Next. Also in 26, we will be adding a southbound lane between Egyptian Drive and Ingenuity Lane on Pyramid. So this is a capacity project that hopefully will really help the residents as they're commuting southbound. So Highland Ranch Parkway, we know this is a major trouble spot out here. Just looking at the left picture, you can see the traffic backup right there. 5 Ridges is making the improvements from Pyramid Highway up to their development. They're going to widen it, add some capacity there. In, I believe, 2027 or 2028, we're going to go in and we're going to widen that road between 5 Ridges all the way to Sun Valley Boulevard. So that'll be a big project, and hopefully we'll see some of this traffic situation calm down a little bit. Next. So future street and highway projects on Pyramid. You guys have seen this map before. That purple right there, that's the phase that NDOT just wrapped up. One of the next ones that we're really focusing on is that intersection at Highland Ranch and Sparks Boulevard. We're back to the drawing board, trying to figure out how we're gonna make those improvements and what it's gonna look like. We've also seen the green right there, making a new cut through between Pyramid over to Park Boulevard to take some of the pressure off both Pyramid and McCarran. And then also up farther north, you see the blue widening it farther to the north. Next. So we also have some current studies underway that would have a really big impact for Spanish Springs. The first one is the Trick Connector Alignment Study. This study is happening right now. We expect to have that complete. It's an alignment study to find out the road that back in the legislature that was possibly going to be a toll road that died. We're back trying to figure out, all right, where can we build a road? And then how do we pay for it? So we're looking at an alignment between close to USA Parkway that would come out to Spanish Springs. There's a couple of different places that could be. We're waiting for that alignment study to come out. We're excited for that. We want to get the word out to you guys as soon as we know what that alignment study is. More than likely, you guys heard about the lands bill that Jackie Rosen had put forward. We don't know if that's going to happen or not. The most possible way that we can do this is probably getting a BLM easement. So if we get that easement, no development, just allows us to build a road to the federal land. Another one that we're looking at right now is a commuter rail feasibility study. That one should also wrap up by December. This is to basically find out, is it a logical way and would it work if we have a commuter rail that goes between Reno, Sparks and Trick to get workers out there to take some of the pressure off Interstate 80. We know that NDOT does have a plan to start construction to widen Interstate 80, but that's a long ways out. It doesn't solve the problem of commuting during construction either. So we're hoping that with the road, if we can build a road between Spanish Springs and Trick, that will at least alleviate some of the pressure during construction and then after as well. Next. All right, so when it comes to our budget, you can see our revenues up here. The most revenue that we have here, we generate locally. It's our fuel tax. So every time you go to the gas pump, that goes into, by law, it has to be used for our roads. Second, we get federal funding. Some of that comes in terms of formula funds that we get every year in a lot of amount. Others are discretionary grants that we apply for. We've been fairly successful recently. We have gotten some discretionary grants, one of them for Lemon Valley, one of them for the Arlington Bridges, and so on. We're actually building the Sparks Boulevard capacity project with formula funding. So we're definitely putting those dollars to use too. You can see sales tax, the next biggest one. For the most part, that goes to operate our transit system. And then we get a little bit of money from NDOT miscellaneous. We also get RIF funding. It's a small portion, but every time a developer comes in and they build a house or a unit, they pay a fee per unit, and that goes to add capacity that's causing traffic because of this development. Next. Now you can see where we're spending that money. So capacity improvement projects, that's where we're spending the most of it. Sparks Boulevard's a perfect example of that. We also have Mill Street that we're widening down in Reno. We've got the ride operating, paratransit operating. So you can see there's different buckets where we're spending this money in. Preservation and multimodal projects. Those are those ones that I was talking about, like the one we're gonna do on La Posada, things like that. So we've definitely got a lot of things that we're working on. Hopefully we can keep that money coming in to pay for it all. Next. Just a fee comparison. I like to show this slide because we understand that we do have the highest fuel tax in the state because it is indexed. That averages out to about $195 a year per vehicle that RTC gets. When you compare that to what you pay for your sewer out here in Sparks, $504 per home per year. Water, you're paying $845, power more than $2,000. So you can see what you're paying, property tax, auto insurance. When you're gassing up and you see that dollar amount rising, nobody likes it. But when you put it in comparison, you actually see that you're paying a lot less to build the roads than you are for some of the other services that you're getting. Next. With that, I'll take any questions.
Okay, I have thank you very much for that presentation. I have a process to have your questions answered, and I forgot my index card. So I've been up here folding and tearing paper up. And what we're going to do is I have it numbered 1 through 9. And then if one of the board members would help me, as you raise your hand, I give you one of these torn up pieces of paper and then, I call that number and then you get to ask your question. But the thing is, you have to come up to the podium and face that camera and speak loud. So that when somebody watches the film, they can hear what you're asking. Do I have a board member to help me?
I'll do it.
Jason's gonna do it this time. Okay?
Good.
And then don't crumple the paper because then they'll collect it and we'll pass them out again. And we'll keep going until there are no more questions. And that could be 3 a.m. for the sheriff. He could have company. Just kidding. Yeah, we like to end on time. Okay, so I've messed up the numbers. I've put them out of order. Okay, so we're gonna go, I know that Joni, you raised your hand first and then there's two, so then he hands them out.
Do you want me to come up right away?
Yeah, you come up,
Okay.
and then, yeah, so.
I apologize. as I
And then what
figure
you
out
do
the
is you
split.
state your name for the record, speak loud so they can hear you in the back. And then Paul will stay with you because he'll answer your question.
Hi,
And face the camera.
I'm Joni Hammond and I have a question on electric vehicles. What is RTC doing with the legislature? Given all of us with gas powered vehicles have fuel tax, but what about the Teslas? And there's a lot of Teslas and electric vehicles here. So what are you doing to make sure they pay their fair share or more because they're heavy vehicles?
So we were expecting the legislature to put something forward in this last session. It would either be a mileage-based user fee or flat fee when you register your vehicle. That never even made it to the floor. There was never a bill draft for it that I know of. I know there wasn't a bill. A couple of years ago, legislature actually did have something in place, but I believe the governor vetoed that one. So basically, the next go around is 2027. So we did have a discussion just last month. We were down in Las Vegas and I was talking to Assemblyman Watts. And he said he's ready to put a bill forward. We did have the Gwynn Center come out and do a study to find out the different ways that they could either put a fee or a tax on electric vehicles and hybrid electric vehicles and how much money that would generate. So there are studies in place. If you guys want to look at that Gwynn study, I think it's available on our website. There's a lot of information in it. It's pretty valuable. We're hoping that we can do this because what we're seeing is that people are driving more. We're seeing more miles driven in our region than there was before, but our revenue is staying flat. And that's because of fuel efficiency, both EVs and just regular cars. Fuel efficiency has gotten better, so people are buying less gas, but driving farther. So we understand that this is something that we need to fix. EV drivers are using the roads too, but they're not paying to use them like the rest of the drivers are.
Okay, thank you. Question number 2.
Hi, my name is Dana Trimble. I have 2 questions. One on the Highlands Ranch. I just want to understand that one's not even going to start till 2028. Is that correct? The subdivision is not.
No, the subdivision, I don't know if that started yet. It was supposed to start this summer. So the
widening between Pyramid and the
And the
and the
development.
entrance and the development. So what was the 2028?
That's RTC's project. We're gonna take we're gonna widen that road from 2 lanes to 4 from the development all the way to Sun Valley Boulevard.
Okay, so who's responsible for, this is the question I've had trouble getting answer from, is who's responsible between Highlands Ranch and Pyramid Highway? Is it RTC or NDOT? Because they both have told me that it's the other person.
It's actually the private developer. And they're working with the city of
Okay.
Sparks.
And then my other question is on the Pyramid Highway, widening it out farther. That I was told that that's up to 2050. Is that correct? That's not, how do we get moved up on the priority list is my question, because they're not even going to discuss it based on the map till 2027 or 2028 as to the next priorities is Spanish Springs. Everybody else is a priority, but yet we have this huge influx of traffic with all the buildings.
So that's NDOT's road, so I don't want to speak on their behalf. But we do hope, we constantly work with NDOT. And we do tell them what our priorities are here, and Pyramid Highway is one of our priorities. So working with them, we're hoping that maybe we could get some federal funding and maybe speed up the process to widen Pyramid. There's 6 phases on that map that I showed you, so a lot of work has to happen. Unfortunately, most of the money that NDOT gets comes from Southern Nevada, so they get the biggest chunk of the pie as well. They've also got thousands of miles of rural highways that they have to do. So that doesn't leave Washoe County with a lot of state funding in terms of NDOT. So we work with them and we try to find different ways that we can get the funding for them. I think it was RTC actually that applied for the grant and got that first phase for Pyramid Highway done. So hopefully that answers the question.
Question 3.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Lawrence, and my question is in regards to the toll road and looking at things by La Posada. I know that the toll road was dead, as you say, but I'm just a little confused as to, so if we decide to do something, a commuter out to USA Parkway from La Posada, is that because a lot of the people that work out there live in Spanish Springs? Or it just seems like that if we did that, that they'd be coming down La Posada and then back up Pyramid Highway, which would just make the traffic even worse. So I'm just confused as to why that area, like why we're focusing on that area when Pyramid Highway is so, you know, is basically a disaster.
So we have that alignment study going on right now, and there's a couple of different options of where that road might end up coming. La Posada is one of those options. Another one could bring it right down there by Golden Eagle Park. It would be a 2-lane road, so it wouldn't be like this big 4-lane highway coming through. But one of the things that we want to point out with this road is if we do build it, we don't know exactly where the alignment is going to go yet. We're waiting for that study to come back. But if it's 10,000 cars that travel that every day, that's 10,000 cars that aren't on Interstate 80 and 10,000 cars that aren't coming up Pyramid Highway. So it's one extra road that we have that will alleviate some of the traffic issues that we have on Pyramid. If like what you were talking about, if people come down La Posada, but then they got to go south, there's still going to be that traffic, but it's going to be going the opposite direction as the rush hour traffic. So if it comes out down there on Vista, then they would have to maneuver, either go left or right, get to their neighborhoods. So we're still waiting to find out on that, but we do think that building this road is one of our highest priorities because you know, there's 2 roads that we're really trying to alleviate pressure on, and that's I-80 and Pyramid Highway.
Question number 4.
Julie Barger, somebody already asked my question, but as long as I have number question 4, I'll ask this. As long as you're around La Posada and Cordova, can you make that intersection a traffic circle instead of a stop sign?
Trying to think which, right there, Cordova,
Yeah,
and, okay.
it's the
on that
last stop,
intersection?
it's the last stop sign on La Posada.
Okay. I don't think that right now we have plans to put a roundabout in there right now, but since you brought it up, we do have some of the roundabouts right there. There are some things that need to be updated into compliance, whether that's ADA or other things. There are some possibilities of putting in some different like pedestrian flashers. It's been a while. We had this meeting about 8 months ago, so I'm trying to remember how it was, but there were some things at those roundabouts where right now, since we're going to be going in and doing corrective, we're going to upgrade some of those crosswalks as well, just to make things safer. I don't think we are building a roundabout at that intersection though.
Question number 5.
Craig Paulson. So the plan is to have 3 lanes each way out to Calle de la Plata. My question is, wouldn't that mean that you'd have to tear out everything you just put in on that new section to make it 3 lanes all the way out and eliminate the back lanes to get some more room?
On Pyramid?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to leave that to NDOT.
It seems like you're gonna have to tear out what you just put in, or NDOT is, to make it 3 lanes all the way out.
And we do have NDOT come and speak to us a couple times a year.
Okay.
So save that question for NDOT. Okay, question number 6.
Ronnie, I have two questions. The first one is probably it should be with you. The NDOT in every freeway, in every other state has a secondary road. Pyramid doesn't have one. And I tried to do the roundabout to 80, and I'm not a good driver. Someone's driving me. It took us 45 minutes to go to the 80, the Pyramid one. From Pyramid Lake all the way to 80. And that's a secondary road coming from Spanish Spring. I think you need to build a secondary road. And I asked Enda and I asked you, and the answer is, oh, ask the other person, ask the other person. Maybe you should work together. That's the only thing. The second one is, maybe it should be the, oh no, just that one.
So we know that there's definitely a need for additional roadways out here. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of area to do that. That's one of the reasons that we're looking at doing this road to connect USA Parkway to Spanish Springs. We're also looking at another road that would connect Lemon Valley to Spanish Springs. So one of the things that, you know, way back in the day when they started building out here, they never did any east-west corridors. Everything's northwest, and there's only 3 of them. So it's a trouble spot. And back then, I don't know if they understood that Spanish Springs was gonna become what it is today. So we understand that there is definitely a need. That's why we are widening Sparks Boulevard, because that's one of the corridors to get out here. And hopefully, you know, and in the future, I think that there is the possibility of widening Vista Boulevard as well. So if we can't build new roads, we have to work with what we got. And so that's what we're working on right now.
Question number 7.
Hi, Vic Shimkevich, and I had a question on the road from Egyptian to Ingenuity. It's only southbound. Can you tell me what the thought was in not having it go northbound as well? Because you would think if they're going one way, they're gonna be going the other, you know? And also, is there any plans to put a light right there on Ingenuity and Horizon? Traffic light.
I'll get back to you on that one. I'm not really sure what went into the thought process of just doing one lane. I don't know if it was because of the funding, you know, do one lane and then maybe in the future come back and do the northbound side. When it comes to the traffic signal, I'm not really sure about that either.
Thank you.
Question number 8.
That's me again. Elizabeth Lawrence again, sorry, I'm just really obsessed about this toll road on La Posada, because I'm mainly because I live out there, but my just concern is that, you know, not only is that road gonna bring, you know, the people that work out there, but it's also gonna bring semi trucks. And so my question is, because I mean, warehouses are popping up every other day out in Spanish Springs now. So I guess my question is, you know, when we're widening these roads, and if this La Posada road may take a little while, are people taking into consideration that road is, you know, a potential, and that we could, you know, have these semi trucks and cars and everything in the future coming out that way? And, you know, when you had brought up making a connector to Lemon Valley, my concern is that it might go right through Eagle Canyon. And my kids are supposed to go to school at Shaw Middle School and, you know, Spanish Springs. And I just can imagine, you know, these semi trucks blazing by as I'm trying to walk my kid to school. So I'm just wondering how far in the future is, you know, either RTC or NDOT thinking about, like, this La Posada road sounds great, but, you know, all of these other things come with it.
So this road, we're not intending it to be a truck route. That's not saying that there won't be trucks driving on it. We don't expect it to be a lot. When it comes to the connector between Lemon Valley and Spanish Springs, one of the things that we looked at, we had 3 different options that we were looking at. And we did find that Eagle Canyon wasn't a viable option. It wasn't a good option. And it was because of the schools. That was a big reason. So you got the schools there. We thought it would be a bad idea to put a road between Lemon Valley and Spanish Springs. The route that we're really focusing in on right now between those 2 areas are really close to here. So I'm trying to remember the street. Wingfield Hills. Yeah, Wingfield Hills. That's the route that we're expecting to go up over the mountain to connect to Lemon.
Question number 9.
Jacob Ritter, Pioneer Meadows, baseball, Pelican Grove, real there. My curiosity was what happened to, I thought we were gonna have 6 lanes from Los Altos to Highland Ranch, and maybe that's been answered already. What happened? I thought that was gonna be 6 lanes across. Am I mistaken? So now it's only 4 with the added bike lane and everything. Maybe I'm mistaken on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So, and I haven't been out here a lot, but so the phase 1,
Yeah,
they widened it to 6 lanes,
Oh,
but then
yeah.
it goes down to 4, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But we all just now combine again. Now it's
Yeah.
like 3 lanes down to 2. It's almost a worse situation.
So I don't know what their plan is for the future phases in terms of the widening.
And that's NDOT, that's not you guys, but yeah,
Yeah.
I heard they spent all the COVID money too. So is that why maybe they didn't give us the extra lane? Okay, that was my little comment. All right.
Okay, we're gonna start again with round 2. So if you raise your hand, I know, Jason, this gentleman has a piece of paper that hasn't crumpled up and he's been holding on to it very carefully. Okay, so now you raise your hand and he'll pass out the cards if you have more questions. Oh, Brandon wants on the list too.
No, you're number 2.
That's a comment, so I'll do that after questions. Okay, so these are meant for questions, not comments. Okay, so is there any other hands?
We also have some virtual hands, just so you.
And we have some virtual hands. Yeah, how many virtual hands?
Potentially 3 or 4.
3 or 4? Okay, Jason, can you give 3 cards to Candy?
I told them we'd wait till the end of the in-person and then we'll ask them to unmute.
Oh,
themselves.
okay, all right, so we got one, 2, how many cards did you pass, Jason?
There's 3 additional, including, 3 with Brandon.
Okay, question 1.
Well, I'm question 1, but it was really a comment.
Oh, then,
But it was about the traffic problem.
okay, comments, you can do that on your agenda item 11. Okay, so question 2. Oh, that's Brandon, yeah, go ahead.
Has there been an easement study, since you've demonstrated that you can arrange for buses every 10 minutes, has there been an easement study to use RTC ride buses from somewhere in the metro area out to Trick as a way of easing that traffic if the commuter rail doesn't go through?
I don't know if we've done a study, but what we're doing instead is we are partnering with My Ride to Work. So I don't know if you guys have seen some of those big charter bus looking things. I think one of the pickup places is over at Shadow Mountain Softball Fields. There's another one over at Centennial Plaza. There's a few different spots around town where people kind of use it as a park and ride. And majority of those people work out at like Tesla, Panasonic, places like that. So that is helping. It's getting some of the cars off the road. My niece works out at Tesla and she hops on that bus over at Shadow. So that's one of the routes that we're going right now. We know it's not enough. I have a friend that works out there doing electrical work. Said it takes him like an hour and a half to get to work on a normal day, 35 miles an hour on the freeway. And that's if there's no crashes. So that's why we're really trying to figure out what ways we can do. That's the commuter rail study. That's why we're doing that. That's why we're looking at this alternative road as well.
Okay, question 3.
Gary Murray, my question is, with the bus rides, you're giving free passes to UNR students and UNR employees to ride the bus, the people that probably can afford it the most. And yet for senior citizens and veterans, you give them $60 a month. I think there's a disproportionate
Is there
amount in there.
question?
That is my question, is why are you, the people that can afford it even least don't get it, and the people that don't need it do get it.
So there's kind of 2 answers to that. One of the reasons that we provide the free transportation to the UNR students and to the faculty and staff, mainly it's the students that use it. We don't know if there's a lot of staff that use it, but the students definitely do. And there's a couple of reasons for that. People that end up using it during college, they might keep using it once they're out of college, and then they do become paying customers, which helps us out. Same with the youth pass. If people start young and they start riding this, they're comfortable with it, maybe they'll continue to use it. When it comes to the seniors, why they don't get free passes, they do get discounted rates. So I think a regular pass is, it's like, I think it's $2.50 a day. It's discounted. I think it's $1.75 or something like that for seniors. I'm not positive on what the cost is, but seniors do get discounts to ride the bus.
And now we're gonna go to the virtual hands.
We have Janet Busher.
Okay, Janet Butcher, thank you, Candy, for your instructions. I was looking for the mute. Anyway, on Cordoba. Are you widening it? Are you just resurfacing it? And will you be doing it only from Sunset Springs to La Posada, or will you be going also north to the dead end? And when will it be started? And is there any idea how long? I have a very important reason why I'm asking.
So the project's gonna start next summer, more than likely. And we're not widening the road. It's a corrective maintenance job. So those are usually fairly quick. We did one up at Somerset last year, and that was about, I wanna say 4.5 miles, took 3 weeks. Took a little longer with, anytime you do a corrective maintenance job, you gotta raise the utility and you gotta lower the utilities and then raise them back up, the manholes and all that. So that takes a little bit longer, but when we do these corrective maintenance jobs or preventive maintenance, we don't just look at the pavement, we also look at the entire corridor. So there could be some improvements in terms of the sidewalks and the crosswalks and things like that as well, but we're not widening it.
Okay, we don't have any sidewalks, so, but are you going north of Sunset Springs or only to Sunset Springs? Since there's that traffic light at the bottom of Sunset Springs. Is it just so that people can scoot through and come down my beautiful street to get to La Posada?
No, it's basically a repaving job. So the boundaries are gonna be on La Posada between Pyramid and Cordoba, then on Cordoba between La Posada and what's the street she is? Was that the one on there?
Sunset Springs.
Sunset Springs. So those are the boundaries of it.
Okay, so you're not going north, south. No, north of there.
Andy, can you bring that slide up?
Like at one block.
It's south.
Oro.
That's where it is. Yeah, so you can see the slide right there. On Cordoba, we're only going from La Posada to Calle de Oro.
And Janet, this handout will be available on the.
Okay, where's Calle de Oro? Where's Calle de Oro at?
South.
South.
So you're gonna go past the Sunset Springs?
South. La Posada.
It's south of La Posada, the equivalent of one block.
Janet.
Cordoba runs between Sunset Springs and La Posada.
And it's not gonna include it.
Cordoba is north of La Posada.
You're going, it's south.
Yeah,
It's south.
It's south of La Posada, according to Google Maps.
So we're gonna move on to the next question, Janet. This
There's no
handout.
Cordoba ends at La Posada.
No,
live on-
it ends at Calle de Oro.
Janet, I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. I think you don't have the handout with you, and I think if you see.
No, but I live
handout-
on the street. I know that Cordoba goes between Sunset Springs and La Posada. Thank you very much. I know, I live on the street.
Okay.
It is between those two streets. Thank you
Okay,
very
thank you,
much.
Janet. Can we go to the next question?
Jennifer Boss.
Yes, I wanted to, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I wanted to follow up. There was mention in the agenda about discussing signal timing. Is that something that can be addressed now, in lieu of, the help that we're all hoping for on Pyramid, to alleviate the commute traffic? Is there anything that's being looked at in terms of maybe synchronizing the lights or anything along those lines?
Yeah, so we were doing quite a few things and really most of it's happening in the Sparks and Spanish Springs area. What we're doing is there's one area, it's called the Sparks Intelligent Corridors. And that uses data from cell phones, kind of like Google Maps does or Apple Maps. So it takes the data of traffic and it tells the signals if traffic is going slower or faster than usual. And it'll sync those signals up to adjust for the amount of traffic that's going on there. We just started last year. One of the things that we learned with that was during a snowstorm, traffic was obviously going slower. So it doesn't differentiate between the traffic from bad weather or if it's from congestion. Another thing we have is our intelligent transportation systems. And that we have fiber that connects the traffic signals between different corridors along the streets. So we've got that going on Vista and on McCarran and Pyramid. We're putting more and more of those in there. And the thought process with that is long-term, what we want to do is have a traffic management center at RTC where you will have a person there that if he sees that he or she, if they see that there is traffic that's slowing down or backing up, they can automatically adjust those lights in real time. Another thing that we do is we work with the University of Nevada and they come out and they do the traffic signal timing for us. And one of the things that they found is like on Sparks Boulevard, the goal is you want to hit as many green lights as you can before you hit a red light. And by timing out Sparks Boulevard, what they did was they got it down to about, I think it was around 4 green lights before you hit a red light. They compared that to Orange County, which they were right around 2. So, we're doing a lot better than Orange County in that aspect. I also know that with construction getting underway on Sparks Boulevard, there might be a lot more people that are taking Vista instead. We will be looking at Vista Boulevard to find out if when we do see more traffic going onto Vista because of the construction on Sparks Boulevard, if we need to redo those traffic signals to accommodate the additional traffic. The problem that we do run into when we do the traffic signals is it doesn't just affect the traffic that's taking the major corridor. There's also those streets that are waiting at the stoplight for that traffic to go. So it's kind of a balancing act when we do the signal timing.
Okay, next question.
No more follow-up?
Yeah, we're just asking for the next question. Who's in line?
Okay, well, I just wanted to clarify that, is the answer then that these lights are constantly being updated and synchronized? I mean, seems that traffic's getting worse, so I don't know if what you're just described is sort of a real-time synchronization that's happening, or
There's 3 different ways of doing it. So the traffic signal timing, we don't do that annually. That's every few years that we'll come out and do that. But the new technology that we're installing right now is like the intelligent transportation system and the Sparks Intelligent Corridors. Those are the ones that we're really using. Another thing with the Sparks Intelligent Corridors is eventually what we could see is using that data, we might be able to even communicate with the drivers to allow them to take an alternate route if there's a crash or a backup, and it'll tell them, hey, get off this road, take this road instead. So we're looking at all this new technology. Sparks Intelligent Corridor has actually won an award. It's I believe the first of its kind that we've tried in the US. So we're seeing how that goes, the pilot project, and we might expand that as we get more information.
Okay. Who's next in line for question?
One last question, and it's written in the chat. It says the Sparks Boulevard from Bearing to Disc under review for additional lanes.
Bearing to Disc. So there has been discussions about the possibility of widening that road. Right now, it's not in our what we call the RTIP, which is the Regional Transportation Improvement Program. That's our 5-year plan. It's not in that plan from what I'm aware of, but Long-term, there might be the possibility, especially as we see what happens with the different phases on Pyramid Highway. That's one of the options that we have discussed.
Paul, you have been very patient and kind to come out here and answer our questions. We really appreciate that. So thank you very much. And I thank all of you for coming and asking those important questions, because we all want to hear what those questions are and make sure that you have an opportunity to ask them face to face with RTC. So RTC, of course, does everything they can to help us, and we will invite you back again next year.
Yep.
We have you on the topics, I think, and that's our next agenda item.
Well, yeah,
So-
invite me back in the spring and I'll tell you what's coming in the summer.
Awesome.
Some of the things that I already talked about.
That would be great. Thank you very much, Paul. We really appreciate you.
And if you guys have any more questions, just feel free to email us.
Yeah, his contact information is on the back of the PowerPoint. Thank you, Paul. Really appreciate it. Okay, we're gonna go on to item number 7. And these are, I just think it's so important that we try to pick topics that you're interested in and coming. We really want you here. I think that's how we build community. We get to know each other and we get to ask questions in person, but we want to make sure that we come up with topics that are interesting for you to be here. We know the RTC is a big one. So we have, we've been working on trying to solicit information from you. And at the bottom of every agenda, there's a QR code. And if you go to that QR code and you've got a good idea of what topic would bring people in, we'd sure appreciate hearing from you. What we're going to do right now is we're going to, this is an action item, and these are the potential CAB topics for 2026. And so we've gone January through December. We don't hold a meeting in August and we don't hold a meeting in December. And the reason why is we feel like a lot of people are traveling in August, and then December is always a very busy month for folks with their families. So I think all of you have this handout. If you don't have it, you can pick it up on your way out. I'm not going to read through them because I just want to ask the board. The board has got very good input on these topics, and we need to make some adjustments. I know that. But in January, we have a strategic planning meeting, and this allows us to have a bigger discussion. And we're pretty excited because Commissioner Andriola and I have been working on this Dignity Index pledge. I think I'm talking to the choir when we all know how hostile it seems to talk in public meetings, or we're polarized politically, and we've lost that respect for good debate. And so during the strategic planning, we're going to have the Dignity Index pledge, and we have the handouts here, and I love the index. One of the ones that I really appreciate tonight, for example, is you were curious instead of being furious. We hear your voice when you're curious. It's hard to hear your voice when you're curious. So we really appreciate that. So I'd like to ask the board members if they would make a motion to approve the potential CAB topics for 2026.
I make a motion to approve.
Bradley Young makes a motion to approve the potential CAB topics.
I would second that.
And Shannon Martell seconds that. And is there any discussion right now?
Not at this time.
Not at this time. We're going to have a lot of discussion during our strategic meeting. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So the potential CAB topics for 2026 has passed. Of course, we're flexible and we'd love your ideas, and we hope you come to the January strategic meeting. Okay, so now I'm going to go over item 8, which is report on requests for service from previous CAB members. So I think it was Brandon, who we all felt like when we have public comment, we all feel bad that we can't say anything to you at the time you make the comment, because it's not an agenda. It's not on the agenda, so we can't discuss it with you. But what we like to do out of respect is come back to you at the next meeting. And so this is the chair report for October. There were no official requests. So we don't have anything to come back to you on, but we do like to be respectful to you when you make a public comment, and we like to give you some sort of response at the next meeting. Okay, so we're moving on pretty fast. Now we're on item number 9. And that is Candy.
Good evening. My name is Candy Ramos. I work for Washoe County. And I just want to share with you a few ways for additional involvement in the community. One being development meetings. If there are any developments that are coming up, the developers hold a community meeting. But how do you find those? So this is washoecounty.gov's homepage. And if you say neighborhood developer meeting, you just search it right from there. It says, it pulls up in our results page, it's neighborhood meetings. So this is a great way for you to see what's coming up. If there's anything coming up in your area, or if there are other areas of interest, if you work in a different area, perhaps you're interested in that. Here are the polka dots. This is a map version of upcoming meetings. Here is a list version. And then what's going on is in here. There do not appear to be any upcoming meeting. Well, that's not true. On the 6th, I'm sorry, Silverado Continuum of Care Phase 3 Neighborhood Developer Meeting. So that is tomorrow. It is in person, but you can also find it online. So if you click on this, it will share information about this project. It has a project description. It says, if you have questions about it, you can contact Jay Bertetto. Anyone can see this event. Oh, sorry, to take place. No, November 6th. So here's the project description. If you have questions, you can contact Stacy Huggins or Trevor Lloyd. So there is an upcoming meeting, and it is going to be at the Spanish Springs High School Library. So it is at 5:30 tomorrow evening. If you have interest in participating in that. There's also ways, if you wanted to send in commentary on that, you can as well. As you see over here, this list of by alphabetical, the Silverado Continuum of Care Phase 3. This provides additional information here. You can submit feedback. Here's a button right here where you can submit feedback if you are unable to attend in person. This is a great way for people to be able to just see what's going on in the community. There's another one coming up in District 5 on the 18th. So if anyone has any questions on that, I will be here afterwards. And then I also wanted to share with you on the Washoe County homepage, any opportunities for volunteerism, any board openings. If you ever go to get involved, there's a lot of ways that you can learn more about Washoe County, including volunteer opportunities, boards and commissions, citizens advisory boards. You're in one of these right now. But if you go to the volunteer opportunities, there are ways to become involved either as a volunteer that you can just sign up for those, or there's also board and commission openings. So these are potentially, you might apply to one of these and then potentially would be appointed. There's 3 openings right now: Open Space and Regional Parks, the Law Library Board of Trustees, and then the Emergency Medical Services. This one you do have to be an emergency physician. But if you have any questions on these, please feel free to reach out to me after, and I'm happy to go over these with you.
Thank you, Candy.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to go to agenda number 10. And this is where I'd like to invite Commissioner Andriola to come up and speak to us.
Follow the instructions, stand at the podium and look ahead.
Thank
It's
you.
really difficult because the people are here. So, but I'm gonna follow the instructions because I'm a rule follower. So my name is Commissioner, oh, I did it. And this is interesting. So there's a few things I want to share. Number one, I am more than excited. I cannot even tell you how excited I am about literally the inaugural Veterans Day observance. The handouts are here at the Sparks Senior Center. The Washoe County Human Services Agency, along with some veterans that I've been working with, we're going to host this. It is a wonderful way to honor veterans, both past, present, and future. And so there's going to be a lot of military agency, veteran agencies, a lot of ways that you can meet fellow veterans. How many are veterans in the room? See, I want to look. How many are veterans in the room? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for your service. So veterans are near and dear to my heart. I grew up in a military family, and certainly I share the story that I thought everybody went to on a naval ship to go to the dentist. I didn't realize there was such a thing as grocery stores and not commissaries for those that understand in PX and living on a base. It was quite an interesting way to realize there was a different world when you're in that really very special place. So veterans are near and dear. And I also want to share really quickly, one of the things that we're doing is raising a root beer in salute to all veterans. Does anybody know why the root beer is significant? Good, because I didn't either. We're all gonna know. So in 1919, the founder of A&W, Roy Allen, set up his first root beer stand in California, and he celebrated the homecoming of all veterans of World War I. It has continued to be a practice that A&W actually even does now with disabled veterans. So I think it's really a great way, because when we had the meeting, I'm like, I love root beer, but I don't understand the connection. So now we all do. So it is definitely connected. There's going to be the Reno Silver Dollar Chorus who is going to be performing, and we have the Sparks Junior ROTC that's coming out too. So it's 11 a.m. to 12:30, and I hope you can be there. The other thing that I'd like to share in terms of staying on with veterans, for the last almost 2 years, I've been really trying to work on having veteran services officers, if you know what those are. They're through the state of Nevada Department of Veteran Services, and they literally are a resource to veterans. And so veterans can, find out what benefits they might have or what opportunities. And again, it's through the state of Nevada Department of Veteran Services. There hasn't been a VSO in Washoe County in a long time. And so I was committed to try and bring back this program. And I'm happy to announce that there is an official agreement between the Nevada Department of Veteran Services and Washoe County to actually have 2 veteran service officers for an entire year. One of the constituents who lives in Sparks has actually pledged $65,300 for one of the veterans for the next year, and then pledging that we can get enough money so that we can have 2 more. So if we can have 2 veterans for the next essentially year, there'll be 4, but 2 each year. The idea is the Nevada Department of Veteran Services is going to use Washoe County gathering statistics in preparation for the 2027 legislative session, show what the value is, show what the benefit is, and hopefully look at having the legislature provide funding for long-term. We are hosting that. We're offering space and some of the resources so that veterans will know the schedule. They'll be going around to different locations, but more to come on that. So it's really, really a proud moment that we'll be able to serve veterans in our community, because we don't have that service at that level at this time and haven't had one. And I've been told 30 years, but that's what I was told. The last thing that I'd like to share is that the Washoe County Commission on October 21st, I had asked if we could please have a priority list of where staff, because staff is limited. There's always competing priorities. It's really hard. There's not enough time and not enough people. And usually not enough money either, but that's another story. And so the reprioritization includes the following: housing. I've been working for the last several years on equine business, and that got moved up from position 5 to 2. Agritourism has now had its position at 3. There's some pretty incredible stories. If you want to talk to me about it, I'm happy to share the details on either one of those. Heat mitigation is 4. dark skies, I've asked for dark skies to look at an ordinance. We have one, but I would just say in reviewing it, it's not, I don't feel that it has the strength that we could have. And we're looking at that. And then public noticing. So those are my updates, Madam Chair and the esteemed board, and to all of you that came. But the biggest thing I'd like to share is happy holidays. And I hope everyone has a blessed, blessed holiday. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Andrew. This is the time too where the CAB members can bring up things for discussion. And I know that we're closing in on my 7:30 deadline to end the meeting. But I know that Brad had a comment that he wanted to make.
Well, I need about 10 minutes.
No.
Oh. No, actually, Paul's gone, so my comment was gonna be to him, thanking him for what he, came in and his presentation is always good. And also he gives his email, so anyone can email if you have a question. There were a lot of questions about the traffic lights and is there gonna be new ones here and there, and I'm right in with everybody. So I understand. And also, for those that don't know, the potential CAB topics, this has been discussed now for what, 3 months?
Yes.
And a lot of back and forth and emails. So everyone up here on the board does do their best to try to be, interesting topics. And as Bonnie pointed out, the QR code. You have anything you'd like to put in there? We get very little traffic, am I right, Candy? Very low traffic on this. So if you have an idea, please go into it. And you're not gonna get on the list. Don't worry, that's not gonna happen. But again, Candy's one that we'll pick up on and then feed it to the board and the commissioner. So any ideas, please send.
Yeah, we really do appreciate it. And we want you here. That's how we build community in Spanish Springs, is having you here. All right, so thank you, Brad. Now we're gonna go to item number 11, general public comment. And we've got 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna go with Zane Lawrence. You still here? Is Zane still here? He left.
Zane went home.
Okay. Okay, then there's Craig Paulson.
Craig Paulson, since we've been talking about traffic on Pyramid, want to bring up a new proposed warehouse project on the east side of Pyramid next to Shadow Ridge and Harris Ranch. 3 warehouses, 700,000 square feet, 17 hours a day operation. And they're seeking to change the zoning from residential to industrial and to amend the regional plan. So I have a flyer. Kate Oakley is the Washoe County planner who's in charge of the project, and she's looking for input. So that's all I'm here to say is we need your input. So I'll leave these flyers up here, and if you're interested, please grab one. Thanks.
Thank you, Craig. Okay, now Julie, you're next. Julie.
Hello, Julie Barker. My comment is, I actually have a problem with Pyramid Way, as you realize. And I was here maybe 3-4 months ago, and I don't know if it was a county person talking about the road situation. And the board said, oh, those are NDOT questions to ask, and NDOT will be here in November. So that's why I'm here, because I thought NDOT was gonna be here and it turned out to be RTC. My bad for not looking at the agenda a little bit in more detail. But I guess my comment would be, and maybe folks here might agree with me, maybe we ought to have all 3 of them here together, the county, RTC, and NDOT, so they can't pass the buck. We can get everybody in one room.
I believe we did that before. Yeah, last year.
Yeah, we had that last year and it was very successful.
Very.
Yeah.
So
Yes, well attended.
bring it back. All right, so that we're gonna put that on our January discussion, our strategic planning, because our topics again are potential CAB topics. We want to do what you want, so you'll come. All right, so with that,
There's one person online that.
oh, one person online for
For public comment.
public comment, okay.
Okay, Ms. Butcher, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Not coming up. Oh, no.
We can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay. I want to apologize. I was able to bring up the handout. And was kind of surprised that it was just that short little one block thing, because before I was told that it was this between Sunset Springs and what have you, but my apologies for being confused and being a little contentious. And I will send Paul a note and thank him and apologize. That's it.
Thank you, Janet. Is there any more public comment? No. Okay, so with that, I would like to call the meeting, I ask for a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Bradley Young made the motion to adjourn at 7:35 and Jason Evans seconded it. Thank you for being here and we hope to see you in January.